Have you ever questioned why your energy levels drop and your chest feels tight, even though you've been eating what you thought were the healthiest foods? Even though you try to follow nutrition guidelines, avoid processed foods, and make conscious choices at the grocery store, you're not alone. Many health-conscious adults believe that all healthy foods are good for your heart. After all, they're labeled as nutritious, right? But here's the surprising truth that few people talk about. Not all healthy foods are beneficial for your cardiovascular system, especially when consumed regularly. In fact, some foods, widely considered healthy, can be silently clogging your arteries, contributing to plaque buildup, inflammation, and even heart disease risk. The foods we eat directly affect the health of our blood vessels, cholesterol levels, arterial walls, and blood circulation, especially around the heart. And for those trying to eat healthily, the wrong healthy foods can mean the difference between a strong, clear cardiovascular system and one filled with blockages, inflammation, and disease. It's time to uncover the 7 worst healthy foods that every health-conscious person should avoid, and understand exactly how they can harm your arterial health. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, I suggest you hit that button and turn on the bell so you never miss another health tip made just for you. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can make better content for you. 1. Whole grain bread, the silent artery destroyer. Many health enthusiasts believe whole grain bread is a heart-healthy staple, often praised for its fiber content and complex carbohydrates, said to help with digestion and sustained energy. But what most health-conscious people don't know is that this seemingly nutritious food can quietly become a serious enemy for your arteries, especially if consumed daily. The truth is hidden beneath its wholesome appearance. Even whole grain bread causes significant spikes in blood sugar due to its high glycemic load. When these sugars flood your system, they cause insulin spikes, which trigger a cascade of inflammatory responses. This inflammation damages the delicate lining of your arteries, creating rough patches where cholesterol and plaque can easily attach and accumulate. What starts as a little morning fatigue or afternoon energy crash may seem innocent, but for many health-conscious individuals, daily whole grain bread consumption slowly creates a persistent inflammatory state in the cardiovascular system. You might feel more sluggish after meals, your blood pressure readings may creep higher, your cholesterol levels may seem stubborn despite your other healthy efforts, and that's not just genetics, that's a reaction to what you thought was helping your heart. Even more concerning, whole grain bread often contains gluten, which can trigger low-grade chronic inflammation in sensitive individuals, making arterial damage worse and even increasing oxidative stress throughout the cardiovascular system. The effects can be subtle at first. That's why it's so dangerous. You think you're making a heart-healthy choice, but you're unknowingly feeding inflammation inside your arteries. So the next time you reach for that slice of whole grain bread, ask yourself, is this food truly helping my heart, or is it holding me back? But whole grain bread is just the beginning. What if we told you that one of the most celebrated heart-healthy oils might actually be coating your arteries with dangerous compounds bite by bite? If you are still watching and finding these insights helpful, please comment 1 below to let me know you're with me. Now, let's move on to point number 2. 2. Olive oil. The Mediterranean myth. For decades, olive oil has been praised as the cornerstone of heart-healthy eating, especially due to the Mediterranean diet's reputation. Many health-conscious people drizzle it on everything, believing it to be liquid gold for their cardiovascular system. But what if I told you that this beloved golden oil might actually be contributing to the very arterial damage you're trying to prevent? The truth about olive oil lies in how we use it and what happens when it's heated. When olive oil reaches high temperatures during cooking, it undergoes oxidation, creating harmful compounds called aldehydes and free radicals. These damaged fats don't just pass through your system harmlessly. They integrate into your arterial walls, contributing to plaque formation and increasing inflammation. You might notice feeling heavy after meals cooked in olive oil, experiencing digestive discomfort, or finding that your good cholesterol levels aren't improving despite your healthy diet efforts. It's subtle at first, but it builds, especially if olive oil is your go-to cooking fat for everything from sautéing vegetables to roasting proteins. What's even more alarming is how much olive oil we actually consume without realizing it. Restaurant meals, salad dressings, marinades. It adds up quickly. And unlike what many believe, even extra virgin olive oil becomes problematic when heated, releasing toxic compounds that can accelerate atherosclerosis. Your arteries don't distinguish between expensive olive oil and cheap vegetable oil when they're both oxidized and inflammatory. We've all been told that olive oil is heart protective, but perhaps it's time to ask, is that protection real when we're heating it to high temperatures, or are we just creating expensive arterial damage? And if olive oil, long considered the gold standard of healthy fats, is quietly harming your cardiovascular system, imagine what seemingly innocent nuts might be doing to your blood vessels. 3. Almonds. Tiny nuts, big arterial impact. At first glance, almonds seem like the perfect heart-healthy snack. They're natural, protein-rich, and often recommended by nutritionists for their healthy fats and vitamin E content. Many health-conscious individuals keep them in their desk drawers or purses, thinking they're making a smart, cardiovascular-friendly choice. But behind that innocent crunch lies a quiet danger that can slowly contribute to arterial inflammation and plaque buildup without making a sound. The danger lies in omega-6 fatty acids, which almonds contain in significant amounts. While omega-6 fats aren't inherently bad, the modern diet is already overwhelmed with them from processed foods, oils, and, yes, nuts. This creates a dangerous imbalance with omega-3 fatty acids, tipping your body into a pro-inflammatory state that directly affects your arterial health. When this inflammatory balance is disrupted, your arterial walls become more susceptible to damage and plaque formation. What you're left with is a slow, steady progression of cardiovascular inflammation that you can't see or feel until it's advanced. You may not link your daily almond snacking to your rising blood pressure or your cardiologist's concerns about early atherosclerosis, but when the body starts sending subtle signals, it's time to listen. Even without obvious symptoms, high omega-6 nuts, like almonds, amplify systemic inflammation. And for a cardiovascular system already under daily stress from modern life, that inflammation is like adding kindling to a smoldering fire. What makes almonds even more deceptive is how easily we overeat them. A handful here, some in your trail mix, a few with your afternoon coffee, and the inflammatory load quickly adds up. So if something as seemingly harmless as almonds could have such an oversized impact on arterial health, what about foods that seem refreshing and natural yet are hiding even more cardiovascular dangers? You might be surprised at the truth about fruit juice. If you're still watching and finding these insights valuable, please comment one below to let me know you're here. Now, let's keep going with point number 4. 4. Fresh fruit juice. The liquid artery clogger. There's something nostalgic about fresh fruit juice. It reminds us of healthy mornings, vitamin C, and the simple belief that if it comes from fruit, it must be good for us. For many health-conscious people, it seems like the perfect way to get nutrients quickly, natural, vitamin-packed, and refreshing. But beneath that wholesome image lies a harsh truth. Fresh fruit juice may be silently working against your arterial health, and worse, you might not even realize it. The problem isn't just the natural sugars, it's how concentrated and rapidly absorbed they are. A single glass of orange juice contains the sugar equivalent of 4-6 whole oranges, but without the fiber to slow absorption. This causes your blood sugar to spike rapidly, triggering insulin surges that promote inflammation and encourage your liver to produce more cholesterol and triglycerides. When blood sugar rises too quickly, it causes glycation, a process where sugar molecules attach to proteins in your blood vessel walls, making them stiff and prone to plaque accumulation. You might notice feeling energetic initially, then crashing an hour later, or experiencing increased hunger and cravings. This isn't just a sugar rush, it's your cardiovascular system struggling with the metabolic chaos. Even worse, the body responds to this sugar overload by increasing inflammatory markers throughout your bloodstream. These inflammatory compounds directly damage the delicate endothelial lining of your arteries, creating the perfect environment for cholesterol to stick and form dangerous plaques. Fresh fruit juice tricks us because it feels healthy and natural, but it behaves like liquid candy in your cardiovascular system. For those trying to protect their heart health, it can quietly accelerate the very arterial damage they're working to prevent. One glass with breakfast, a smoothie post-workout, and soon your arteries are telling you something's not right. But if fresh fruit juice, made from nature's bounty, can cause this much cardiovascular trouble, what about foods that are specifically marketed as heart-healthy superfoods? The next one on the list might surprise you. It's probably in your pantry right now. 5. Oatmeal, the breakfast artery blocker. Oatmeal has long been celebrated as the ultimate heart-healthy breakfast, packed with soluble fiber linked to cholesterol reduction and often recommended by cardiologists as part of a heart-protective diet. Many health-conscious individuals start their day with a bowl of oats, believing they're doing something powerful for their cardiovascular system. But as comforting as this habit may feel, the truth is far more complicated and far more dangerous for arterial health than most people realize. Behind the wholesome image and fiber content, oatmeal carries a significant glycemic load that can trigger substantial blood sugar spikes, particularly when eaten as a typical large breakfast portion. For those trying to protect their arteries, this glucose surge initiates a cascade of inflammatory responses that can irritate and damage blood vessel walls over time. The result is a creeping stiffness in your arteries when you wake up, elevated morning blood pressure readings that linger throughout the day, and that familiar feeling of your energy crashing mid-morning after the initial oatmeal boost wears off. It's subtle until it's not. But the glycemic impact isn't the only problem. Most commercial oats are heavily processed and often contaminated with glyphosate residues from conventional farming. These chemical residues can trigger low-grade chronic inflammation that doesn't just affect digestion, it affects your entire cardiovascular system, contributing to endothelial dysfunction and accelerated arterial aging. It's easy to assume a breakfast, so widely recommended by health professionals, couldn't possibly be harmful, but the cardiovascular system of someone actively trying to prevent heart disease doesn't respond the same way to repeated glucose spikes. The same oatmeal that once seemed protective may now be subtly undermining your arterial health every single morning. And if this beloved breakfast staple is silently contributing to cardiovascular inflammation, imagine what a seemingly innocent health food that's been marketed as a protein powerhouse might be doing, especially one that hides its arterial dangers behind a health halo. 6. Greek yogurt, the creamy cardiovascular culprit. Greek yogurt carries the image of pure health and fitness. Its thick texture, high protein content, and probiotic claims often attract those looking for a clean, nutritious snack that supports their health goals. For many health-conscious individuals, Greek yogurt seems like a wise, responsible choice for heart health and overall wellness. But few realize that beneath that creamy exterior lies a combination of inflammatory compounds and hidden sugars that can quietly undermine cardiovascular health. What makes Greek yogurt particularly troubling for arterial health is its high concentration of casein protein and naturally occurring hormones, even in organic varieties. Casein can trigger inflammatory responses in sensitive individuals, and the IGF-1 insulin-like growth factor naturally present in dairy products has been linked to increased inflammation and cellular damage in blood vessels. That inflammation doesn't just settle in your digestive system. It can contribute to systemic inflammation that affects your entire cardiovascular network, creating conditions that promote plaque formation and arterial stiffness. You may not link your daily Greek yogurt habit to your slowly climbing blood pressure numbers or your cardiologist's concerns about early arterial calcification, but when the body starts sending quiet signals through persistent inflammation, it's time to listen. But it's not just the proteins. Many Greek yogurts contain significant amounts of natural milk sugars, lactose, and flavored varieties are loaded with added sugars that can spike insulin and promote inflammatory cascades. And because Greek yogurt is often eaten as a frequent snack or breakfast staple, sometimes multiple times per day, the inflammatory load can accumulate. You may not link your daily protein-rich snack to your cardiovascular inflammation markers or your difficulty improving your cholesterol ratios, but when the body starts sending subtle signals through stiffening arteries and elevated inflammatory markers, it's often a response to something we thought was protecting our heart. So, if something as seemingly heart-healthy as Greek yogurt can stir up so much cardiovascular disruption, wait until you hear about the superfood that's been praised for its antioxidants, but is quietly flooding your arteries with inflammatory compounds. 7. Dark chocolate, the antioxidant deception. There's no denying the pleasure and perceived health benefits of dark chocolate. Its rich flavor, antioxidant reputation, and studies linking it to heart health often make it feel like a guilt-free indulgence. For many health-conscious individuals, dark chocolate feels like the perfect compromise, a treat that's actually good for your cardiovascular system. But beneath that bittersweet satisfaction lies one of the most concentrated sources of inflammatory compounds, disguised as a health food. One square of dark chocolate can contain significant amounts of caffeine, theobromine, and oxalates, compounds that can trigger cardiovascular stress responses. While marketing focuses on flavonoids and antioxidants, the reality is that these benefits are often overshadowed by the inflammatory burden, especially when dark chocolate becomes a regular part of your diet. The caffeine and theobromine cause your heart rate to increase and blood pressure to rise, while the oxalates can contribute to arterial calcification over time. This level of cardiovascular stimulation causes your blood vessels to constrict and creates oxidative stress throughout your arterial system. What follows is a subtle but persistent state of cardiovascular inflammation that can accelerate plaque formation and arterial aging. Even more troubling, dark chocolate can trigger inflammatory responses in people with sensitivity to salicylates or histamine, that uncomfortable feeling in your chest after eating chocolate, the slight increase in heart palpitations, or the way your blood pressure monitor shows higher readings in the hours following your healthy chocolate indulgence. It might not be just the caffeine. It might be your cardiovascular system responding to compounds that create more stress than benefit. And because dark chocolate feels virtuous and health-promoting, it's easy to justify regular consumption without noticing the cumulative cardiovascular impact. But your arteries keep score, and your cardiovascular system, the very network that maintains your vitality and longevity, is the first to suffer from what we thought was heart protective. So before you reach for that next square of antioxidant-rich dark chocolate, ask yourself, is the temporary pleasure and perceived health benefit worth the slow, steady inflammatory burden it leaves behind? Because while these 7 foods may surprise you, the real danger lies in how they add up over time, often without a single obvious warning sign. What should health-conscious people eat instead? When we discover that the foods we relied on for heart health may have been silently working against us, it's natural to feel frustrated, even betrayed. But knowledge is power, and with it comes the opportunity to shift, to choose more wisely, and to give our cardiovascular system what it truly needs to thrive and protect us throughout our lives. Because optimal health isn't about following trends. It's about learning how to nourish our bodies with precision, clarity, and genuine care. For those committed to cardiovascular health, especially those who feel the weight of family history or the concern of aging arteries, the solution isn't to abandon healthy eating altogether. Instead, it's about choosing foods that truly heal, not harm. Ones that nourish without triggering inflammation, that support circulation, reduce oxidative stress, and give your arteries the strength to stay clear and flexible. Start with wild-caught fatty fish, nature's true cardiovascular medicine. Salmon, sardines, and mackerel are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, anti-inflammatory compounds that actively protect your arterial walls and help reverse existing damage. They work quietly in the background, reducing inflammation, improving blood flow, and supporting the delicate endothelial lining that keeps your arteries healthy. Leafy greens like spinach, kale, and arugula offer powerful nitrates that convert to nitric oxide in your body, a compound that keeps your blood vessels relaxed and flexible. Unlike foods that stress your cardiovascular system, these greens actively support optimal blood pressure and arterial function. Then there's the quiet strength of avocados and olive oil used cold. Rich in monounsaturated fats that don't oxidize easily, they provide stable energy and support healthy cholesterol ratios without the inflammatory burden of processed alternatives. Berries, too, are gentle allies. Their antioxidants fight the oxidative stress that damages arterial walls, while their natural compounds help improve circulation and reduce systemic inflammation. Unlike sugary fruits or fruit juices, berries provide cardiovascular benefits without the metabolic chaos. Even herbs and spices like turmeric, garlic, and ginger can provide profound anti-inflammatory effects, helping your cardiovascular system heal from years of hidden damage while protecting against future arterial stress. At this stage of your health journey, your food should work with your cardiovascular system, not against it. Every bite is a choice toward arterial health or away from it, toward clearer blood vessels and stronger circulation, and toward the kind of vitality that comes from knowing your heart is being protected, not just fed. And it all starts with the foods you choose to embrace and the ones you ultimately decide to let go. As someone who has walked the path of trying to eat perfectly, through conflicting nutrition advice, through the disappointment of discovering that healthy foods weren't helping, through seasons of confusion and seasons of clarity, I want to speak to you not as an expert, but as a fellow traveler on this journey toward optimal health. Protecting your cardiovascular system isn't easy. Nobody prepares us for the subtle ways that seemingly healthy foods can work against us. The gradual arterial changes that happen without symptoms, the fear that despite our best efforts, we might not be doing enough to prevent heart disease. But if there's one thing this journey has taught me, it's this. We are never too late to choose differently, to choose better, and to give our cardiovascular system what it truly needs. We've all been told that these foods are good for us. We grew up with nutrition pyramids, with doctors and health experts saying, eat whole grains, drink your juice, choose Greek yogurt. And for the most part, that advice came from good intentions. But now, with access to better research and a deeper understanding of individual responses to food, our bodies are asking us to listen more closely. The 7 foods we've explored today aren't dangerous in the way fast food is. But for us, for those actively trying to protect our cardiovascular health, prevent arterial damage, and maintain optimal heart function, they can quietly steal what matters most: clear arteries, healthy blood pressure, and the confidence that comes from knowing we're truly supporting our heart health. And for health-conscious individuals, cardiovascular protection is everything. It's longevity, it's vitality, it's the foundation that allows us to pursue all our other health goals with confidence. You don't have to overhaul your entire diet overnight, but you can start gently, learning to let go of what no longer serves your cardiovascular health, to replace foods that inflame with nourishment that truly heals, to choose options that support arterial health without creating metabolic chaos. Be mindful of how you feel after you eat, not just what tastes good or seems healthy in the moment, but what your energy levels, your blood pressure, your overall cardiovascular system tell you in the hours that follow. That awareness is wisdom. And in our pursuit of optimal health, wisdom is one of our greatest tools. If you're reading this and feeling a bit overwhelmed, take a breath. You haven't failed. You haven't done anything wrong. This isn't about guilt or perfection. It's about gaining clarity, about taking small, powerful steps toward genuinely supporting your cardiovascular system. Your health journey doesn't end because you discovered some foods weren't helping. In many ways, this is where the most intentional, effective chapter begins. So, from one health seeker to another, I urge you, protect your arteries, protect your heart, protect your future by being truly mindful of what you feed your cardiovascular system. You deserve optimal circulation, you deserve healthy blood pressure, you deserve to pursue your health goals with confidence, knowing that every choice is genuinely supporting your cardiovascular wellness. Because it's not just about avoiding heart disease, it's about thriving with optimal cardiovascular health. And that choice starts today with every single bite. These lessons are meant to inspire you to make truly informed choices about your cardiovascular health. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to reflect and share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own heart-healthy journey. Let's help each other navigate toward genuine cardiovascular wellness. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means so much to us. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and here's to protecting your cardiovascular health with wisdom and intention.